And these red cards are costing them.
Yeah, it's definitely, of course, we saw the same, didn't we, when they took on Manchester United as well. Enzo Maresca, again, you question what substitutions he made in response to that red card as Brighton go to the bridge and take all 3 points. And Shaka, we've seen these sort of performances from Chelsea, and they are so concerning if I'm a fan, because you just know that Chelsea have these sort of performances within them. And I know they were down to 10 men, but even before then, Brighton grew into this game.
I thought, certainly in the first half, when it was 11v11, Chelsea were in total control. I mentioned down the right-hand side, between Estevao and Reece James, I thought they combined wonderfully well. And really, you didn't see anything but a Chelsea win, especially once Enzo Fernandez scores that opener, and you feel they go on to build on that. But then second half starts, and Chelsea make mistakes at the back, and it cost them. And from there on in, I'll be honest, I was surprised that it took Brighton as long as it did to kind of break the deadlock, because they were so much better, and understandably so. It's 11v10, and Chelsea held out for as long as they could. But once they did, I thought Brighton took all the momentum to it, and Chelsea simply did not have a response. And while I was so full of praise for Chelsea going forward and the right-hand side and how they were able to control the game in midfield, there was anything but in the second half. And it really was a backs to the wall. Let's just hold on here as best we can, even at 1-1. Let's just hold on here as best we can. And ultimately, you have to say, it's a fair result.
But they've not figured out, Chelsea, and they should be better than this. They've not figured out, when they've lost a man, how to be tough to beat.
There's that soft belly about them, isn't there?
And people might say, well, 10v11. Listen, we've all done it. We used to do it in training. Sometimes the manager would mix the numbers up in training and say, go and break them down. You can still be difficult to beat. You're going to lose something offensively going forward. Of course you are. You're going to lose that easy possession. But you have to learn in adversity how to grind out a result. We saw it at United last week. The manager had a panic up.
Yes.
An absolute panic up. He was like, subs. And then Cole Palmer get injured. He had to take him off. They have to learn, if they're going to make bad decisions, how to sort of galvanise themselves and try and nick a result. The 2 games they've lost men to red card, 2 games in a row, they've just absolutely folded and been too easy to beat. And as you mentioned, Liverpool are coming up. I don't know, what Liverpool side are going to pitch up. But this is a Chelsea side that got, and Chelsea supporters, who got carried away with this powder puff Club World Cup nonsense. Absolute nonsense, right? This here is their bread and butter. This here is what will define their manager. The Premier League. So you can forget all that World Club Champions nonsense and all that. This is the crux of how their season will be defined and whether he will remain in a job. And at the moment, the early signs are they are creaking and cracking under the pressure.
Is that harsh, Tom, considering they were down to 10 men? Do we not just turn the page and see what happens next week?
No, because what I'm seeing from Chelsea and what I was listening to on the phone-ins and most of the callers that I was listening to were spot on. Enzo Maresca can't manage the substitutions. They're furious at the likes of Neto coming off last week. When you go down to 10 men, Dan, it's pretty simple. You want ball carriers on the pitch. You want your quickest player on the pitch. He took Neto off last week, done exactly the same today for Lavia. Estevao then comes off, and Chelsea fans are thinking, like, what we're doing? We're trying to hang on to a 1-0. I think it was 1-0 at a time, then 1-1. We're trying to hang on at home. You know, they're a young side, but we can't keep saying they're a young side. At some point, they're going to need managing from Maresca. All these young players now have got to find some maturity to manage themselves and see a game through and know what to do on a football pitch. We've all played the game where you can't just lean on your manager all of the time. You can't go to a manual on 35 minutes or 40 minutes and say, right, what do we do in the manual? You've got to manage the game. We've all managed games just before half-time when you've gone to a different system on the pitch, or we've pulled front men in to be more defensive to try and get us through to half-time to allow a manager then to deliver his team talk. I'm not seeing it from the players. They haven't got the maturity. And in all honesty, the substitutions that Maresca's been making have been baffling.
I think that to that point as well, I question whether Chelsea have the personnel to play with 10 men. And I say that, I look at João Pedro, and I can't help but compare Chelsea now to Chelsea in my day with a Didier Drogba. with 10 men, you could just put the ball up in the air and Drogba will take it, will bring it down, he'll keep hold of it, he'll bring other players into the game. João Pedro's not that kind of player. He wants to run in behind defenses. So when you're pinned back, he gets drawn in because he wants to run by defense. And so Chelsea don't have that out ball. And as a result, they just have to sit and absorb as much pressure as clearly they did. So they don't have that personnel either. So which again kind of adds to why they're as poor as they are with 10 men.